Now, when it comes to price points, one of the things I teach my students is that price does matter. Of course, we want to honor your budget. That always matters. We want to make sure that you're not overextending or going into debt in order to afford these things. But I want you to consider the type of piece it is. And I call these two different types of pieces, anchor pieces and peripheral pieces. An anchor piece is something that is either attached to your home. It's maybe built-in bookshelves or a fireplace or something that you can't really change every now and again. Or pieces that you purchase that are too costly to replace every couple of years. Or when you make a mistake and you realize you've made a mistake. Things like dining tables, couches, beds, things, and there's a sliding scale, whatever you can afford in order to make that consideration of, can I replace it in a couple of years if I realize I make a mistake? That is very personal to each person. And a peripheral piece is small and mighty. These are the things that bring in the finishing touches. They are the little decor pieces. They are the lamps and the artwork and the area rugs and the chandeliers and the books and the plants and the planters and all the things that just add a softness and a round out your overall design. And the anchor pieces are the things that most often become a bully because of uncareful decision making. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is, but our culture has shifted and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style, where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. My dad is buying a new couch, and that is relevant to you because the approach that he is likely going to take is quite frankly the opposite of what I'm going to be teaching you today. Now, before you think I'm throwing my dad under the bus, you need to know that Larry is an 86, almost 87-year-old man who doesn't like to waste time. The last time I was in helping him buy a couch was about 6 years ago. And we were in and out of the furniture store within 20 minutes, probably more like 15. He chose the couch based on 3 criteria, and I guarantee that when he takes my brother, who is very similarly minded, he does not want to be bothered by furniture stores or the woo of a salesperson, it is going to be a flash in the pan. He's going to be in and out as quickly as humanly possible. So these are the 3 criteria he took when selecting the last couch, and likely the ones he's going to be taking this time. Did he like it? Does it fit his budget? And is it approximately the right size? This time, he will likely consider a 4th, which is, will it fit in my brother's truck? Great. 4 criteria that work great for an 86, 87-year-old man who lives by himself in the mountains. Okay, fantastic. That is going to work great. But when you make a decision based on efficiency, based on will it just fit in my budget, sometimes you end up making a decision that ends up being a decision you later regret. And those decisions can compound over time and make you believe that you are not good at decorating. Larry, he doesn't care. He actually makes a pretty good choice. The couches are, and the furniture he has chosen on his own without my mom's help, they're functional, they're comfortable, they fit a color palette that he has not knowingly put together, and they're pretty durable. Now, why is he replacing a couch within 6-7 years? Because he had a dog, and the dog did a little bit of a number on the couch. Oops, he's learning from that. And so is the dog. But when it comes time to making a big decision, like a piece of furniture, careful consideration is imperative. It's not life or death. Who are we kidding? We are designing spaces that reflect us. It is not brain surgery. It is not life and death. But when you are creating a space that is reflective of you and is a respite from the world outside, and we know in the last couple of weeks how crazy the world can be, we want our homes to be a nurturing space, a soft place to land, a place where we can feel our very best, restore ourselves for facing the world again when we leave the doors. And decisions that we make to bring inside matter. And one of the things that I keep hearing over and over is that the thing that keeps women like you stuck in home decorating isn't your desire. We know that. It is not the desire. And even though you might say it is the money, like you don't currently have the funds, it is the idea of not feeling good at it, not feeling like you're going to make a good choice. Second guessing yourself because you've made mistakes before, over and over and over again. And so if your approach to buying a big piece of furniture is like Larry's, who will go out and go to the nearest furniture store without really any forethought other than I need a new couch, and what does my schedule look like in order to go get that? And what does my ride situation look like in order to go get that? Okay, big brother, are you there? Yep, okay, there we go, we've got our ride. Without any more consideration than that, you could be bringing a bully into your home. And a bully is a piece of furniture or artwork or decoration or color or any design element within your home that commands and demands attention in a negative way. Working with clients over the past several years, I've seen a lot of bullies. Let me just name a few. And these bullies lived front and center in a living space. And let me tell you that bullies can be really pretty. Bullies are not always eyesores. Bullies are bullies because they command and demand attention in a negative way. They become the unknowing focal point within the room, like tanning beds or overstuffed couches, pink area rugs, too small of a bookshelf, undersized chandelier, too short of curtains. You get the idea. It can be a lot of different things, and none of those things are bad in and of themselves, but sometimes they become now the unknowing and unwilling focal point because there was a piece of the decision-making process that was missing. And when that happens, every once in a while, like Larry, he won't care. He will think this is great and it'll be a great couch, and he'll likely pick one that will be the right size, be the right price point for him, of course, and likely fit into a color palette that he has unknowingly chosen. But sometimes when you make a choice and you're happy with that choice and you bring that choice home and you live with that choice for a while, you begin to realize, oh, something about this room is feeling a little bit off. I think it might be that piece, or I think it might be, and usually what we are drawn to is the biggest piece in the room, like a couch. But you heard my little list, and I just was rambling on things that I've seen in, most recent memory. You can tell that some of those things are unsuspecting, and they become bullies in your space. Like a too small chandelier. That can be a bully. Like a pink rug. That sounds cute, right? But maybe it's in the wrong color palette. Like a too small of a bookshelf. Well, a bookshelf's a good idea, right? We can style it real cute. Maybe too small of scale against a really large wall. There are other things to consider when making a selection like this. Now, when it comes to price points, one of the things I teach my students is that price does matter. Of course, we want to honor your budget. That always matters. We want to make sure that you're not overextending or going into debt in order to afford these things. But I want you to consider the type of piece it is. And I call these two different types of pieces, anchor pieces and peripheral pieces. An anchor piece is something that is either attached to your home. It's maybe built-in bookshelves or a fireplace or something that you can't really change every now and again. Or pieces that you purchase that are too costly to replace every couple of years. Or when you make a mistake and you realize you've made a mistake. Things like dining tables, couches, beds, things, and there's a sliding scale, whatever you can afford in order to make that consideration of, can I replace it in a couple of years if I realize I make a mistake? That is very personal to each person. And a peripheral piece is small and mighty. These are the things that bring in the finishing touches. They are the little decor pieces. They're the lamps and the artwork and the area rugs and the chandeliers and the books and the plants and the planters and all the things that just add a softness and a round out your overall design. And the anchor pieces are the things that most often become a bully because of uncareful decision making. So I'm going to break it down to you with 5 things that when you are choosing a big piece, an anchor piece, like a piece of furniture, here are some things to consider. And I'm going to go backwards from, and not even necessarily least important to important. I mean, I am saving the most important for last, but the rest are here and there. Number 5 is money. Of course, you guys already know this. This is something that I don't need to tell you how to consider. You are already looking at, can you afford it? Does it fit in your budget? How often are the payments? How long do you want to carry that debt? You're already doing that. I'm not going to land on there. But it is a consideration. The 4th are the measurements. Of course, we know that if we want to make sure that it fits in our space. But I want you to be mindful of, does it just fit, or does it fit in the area you want it? Meaning, have you mapped it out in your home? I don't know how many times I tell my clients, hey, do you have any blue tape, or do you have any jump ropes, or do you have any scarves or socks or anything that you can put on the floor or on the wall in order to outline these ideas that we're floating out here so you can get a visual before you make that big purchase? Is there anything that you can put in that space to kind of bulk up in that outline so that you get a feel for this big change you're going to be making and bringing into your home? Because I guarantee when you buy a big piece of furniture, when you buy an anchor piece like this that you've already invested a lot of time and money in order to get, the last thing you want to do is go and return it. And when you are bound by that idea of it is a hassle to go and return, you now live with a bully. And those bullies, even though they can be beautiful, they now are the ones running the show. Those bullies now take over as decorating dictators. And I am being really dramatic, but it's true. Think about if this has ever happened to you, and I'll get back to my list. Have you ever gone into a room in your home, or maybe even a friend's home, or you've heard a friend talk, or your parents talk, or your friends, whatever, you've seen it happen, where you go in and you think, I really want to refresh this space, but I have to live with X, and you point out X, whatever X is. That cost a lot of money. That is something that we chose it. I know it's now the wrong choice, and now I really want to make sure that I just hate the room, and I want to refresh the room, but I can't really do anything about this one thing. And that one thing is the largest piece in the space. That one thing is a family heirloom that you've been given that you feel obliged to keep. That one thing is the thing that you bought 25 years ago and it was expensive then because your budget was really tight, but you have that perceived value of it still being expensive today. And that thing now becomes the decorating dictator. You now have to make all of your decisions around that one thing in your space. I had a client do that with me recently, and we were walking into her home and she wanted a refresh, and we ended up doing a couple rooms in her home, and they were really sweet and charming. But she had a oversized sectional that was not just oversized, but was too big for her space, with another oversized couch and the walk room in the area that, it's very comfortable. And if you wanted to watch sports on it, it was very, very loungeable. And a couch like that is not necessarily bad, but it took up 3/4 of her room and left very little for other things. And she knew that was a wrong choice once she brought it home and got it into her space. But she was delighted by the price point. She was excited by how comfortable it was. And her husband was with her and said, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. I can't wait to watch football on this couch. And so they bought it and brought it home, and then realized later that this was a bully. They didn't call it that, but this was now calling the shots. And as we redesigned her room, we were very limited because we were making every decision moving forward based on that couch that was not going to go anywhere. And that's what I want you to avoid. So measuring it is, of course, important. Mapping it out and getting a sense for how does it fit and work in this space And when you're mapping it out and you're laying out an outline on the floor, can you put some things in that outline in order to kind of beef it up and fill it out, especially if it's a piece that sits on the floor? Can you do that to get a real sense for it? Okay, number 3. I promised I'd get back to my list. Number 3, the other thing that you want to think about is scale. Let's take, for example, a piece of art going above a credenza. Now, a lot of times you might look at something hanging on a wall, or you might look at something that is sitting on the floor, and you might think, something feels a little off here. What is it? And I want you to think beyond color, and I want you to think beyond, do I like it? And I want you to think about sizing and scale. Does it fill up the space a little bit? And if you remember this ratio, this is going to be helpful for you. And that ratio is 2/3. Does whatever that is fill up 2/3 of the space of, maybe it's a couch on a wall. Maybe it is a coffee table in front of a couch. Maybe it is an artwork above a credenza. Now, this rule doesn't necessarily apply to everything, but as we are blanket statementing all of these ideas, I want you to just kind of keep that in mind. Does it look too small for the thing that is sitting above, behind, beside, in front of? Think about the scale. And in that same light, I want you to think about the weight. And this is number 2. We're going backwards on that list. The weight. Every piece of furniture you bring into your home, every anchor piece carries a weight to it. The color dictates the weight. The size dictates the weight. The scale, compared to something else, dictates the weight. Pairing items together in one area, like too dark of items or too light of items, carries a weight. And those weights, of course, range from heavy, or light. And sometimes when you are looking at an item in your space and you think something feels off, it might not be that it was a wrong choice. It might just be that it's really very heavy. And maybe swapping out a few things is the natural inclination that we would do to combat that. It's not necessarily a matter of a bad choice or a bully in the space, or it could be a bully, and it's probably a bully, but how do you remediate that bully? And that could be as easy as swapping out something on it in order to change the weight. How full does it feel in that room? How dark or cavernous does it feel? Those are a couple questions that you can consider when you're considering the weight. And of course, the number one thing is understanding your aesthetic and knowing, has this piece been filtered through my aesthetic? Is it my personal design style? Or how does it have touch points to my design style? Or is it completely off base? Now, again, going back to Larry is not going to care. Larry doesn't care. He wants function. He wants something that is comfortable. He wants something that is easy. He wants something that is going to fit his price point. All good considerations. But again, Larry isn't here learning how to make the right choice. Larry's going for convenience. And for you, who's choosing that active learning and choosing to make sure that, and I'm air quoting, that mistake that you've made before doesn't repeat itself, this is the highest consideration you should think about. And putting some work and some forethought before making a large decision that could then end up being a decorating dictator into your home. And I laugh, but I don't laugh because I've seen it so many times that we don't want that for you, because it just perpetuates that cycle of I've made a mistake, and I don't want that for you. So how do you learn your design style? How do you learn your aesthetic? You have likely seen design quizzes on Pinterest, and you've maybe even taken some. And those design quizzes might have given you a revelation of, oh, I'm French country cottage core, or I'm nautical with a twist of traditional, or whatever. It might have spit out a label for you, a label that is understood by the quiz creator, but not necessarily understood by you, other than a couple of touch points, a couple of bullet points that indicated why it was you chose the selections ahead of time in order to get your answer. But it's still, those quizzes can still leave you a little confused if you're not dialing into why it was that you chose those things in the first place. So friend, I have something for you. you missed the workshop that we did a couple weeks ago, and I'm so bummed you did. If you watched the replays, I'm so thankful that you were able to watch those. And it was an absolute blessing to be hanging out with any of you who showed up live and participated with me. But I have something for you in case you weren't there and in case you missed it. I have a design guide for you that is hanging out on my website, the top of the page on my website. You can get it at figandfarmathome.com, or you can go directly there to bit.ly FF, like Fig and Farm, design guide, and you can grab your free guide. It is a quick little mini training to get you started understanding your design style, understanding your personal aesthetic. And what I taught in the workshop and what I want you to know now is that when you understand your design style, it gives you an empowerment that you didn't have before. And I'm not kidding when I say that. I'm not being sensational when I say that. What happens is you remove some of those you remove some of that decision fatigue, that overwhelmed feeling, that feeling of having too many choices to look at. It's not that you remove the choices, it removes the filter that allows you to decide if this is a good choice for you or not. It brings in confidence that allows you to make efficient design choices. And one of the things that it really does is allows you to be able to see all these products that are swirling in front of you. And you name the product. We could be in the blanket aisle, the pillow aisle, the lamp aisle, the mirror aisle, the frame aisle, the tile aisle, the paint aisle. Heaven forbid we're in the paint or tile aisle, because those are more permanent. Those are more of those anchor pieces, right? We can replace a lamp or a picture frame here and there, but replacing tile, replacing flooring, replacing carpeting, that's tricky. But when you know your design style, you have a really firm understanding of your aesthetic, it allows you to stand in whatever space you are with all of those swirling decisions around you and choices around you, and it allows you to be able to do something like this. That one is great, but you know what? That's not for me. That one is great, and you know what? I bet it would look good in Susie's home. That one is great, but you know what? That's going to be one of my choices. I'm going to set it aside here. And you keep on doing that, and you might realize, oh, I like that choice. Not for me. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Oh, I wish it was good. Oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it. I want to buy it, but not for me because I can't take it home because it's not going to fit my style. But you know what? My daughter will love it. Okay, and you have now 3 choices. You've narrowed down from all of these choices that you're like, ugly, 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 nope, yep, here I go. And you have all of those choices sitting in front of you. Instead of 100, you now have 3. How much easier would it be if you had 3 choices instead of the 150 that are sitting on the shelf in front of you? So much easier. And your design style acts as a filter. Your design aesthetic acts as a filter because you've now labeled, okay, these are the things that I like in my design style. These are the design elements that make that up. And that filter now allows me to make a decision that is more confident, that is way less overwhelming, and that allows me to leave all those decorating dictators in the store. That is the power of knowing your style. So if you missed that workshop, that's okay. I have something for you. It is that free guide. Come on and check it out. You can go to figandfarmathome.com, and it is at the top of my page. Just grab that free guide. Or you can go to the direct link, bit.ly/FF, like Fig and Farm design guide. Either way is going to get you there. Watch that free training, enjoy, and you are welcome. It is my gift to you. All right, friend, if you want some help, if you realize, yep, that is me, and I probably have 1,000 bullies sitting in my home, and I would love some help with that, I have some spots still available for October. I would love to sit with you. I would love to chat with you, and I would hang out in your home over Zoom, of course, but it's an hour-long conversation where we talk about the things that you have tried in your space, the things that are not quite working, and the direction you want to go. You walk away with a complete action plan that allows you to honor the style that you have. And if you don't know it, that is okay. That is why I'm there. That honors your budget, that honors your timeline, and gets you into that headspace of creating a home that you delight in. Because, friend, it is possible. You can reserve one of those dates in October by going to figandfarmathome.com/decorating-SOS. And I would love to hang out with you and help you create a plan that is specific to you, your home, your budget, and your timeline. All right, friend. In the meantime, I'm going to hang out and wait for that picture from my brother to see what Larry's new couch looks like. All right, until next time, I'll see you soon. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.